Hello everyone, thanks for joining us again. Wendy Clifford here and Ian Bourne from Cloud 2020. I'm going to talk to you about, it's the second part of our Licensing Overwhelm series. We've called it that because, you know, a couple of times actually this week we've had partners talking to us about how overwhelming they're finding the kind of Power Platform and Dynamics licensing to get a grip of. And some of them have said it's unnecessarily complex, but I think that it is beginning to shake down a little bit, but maybe we're very close to this, so we understand it. So we want to kind of relay some of that information to you and talk about Dynamics licensing, full and attach, what that means, how it works with the discounted rate for marketing if you've got other licensing in play. So we're going to start off, I think, Ian, with talking about full and attached licensing. Now that's replaced what was known as the customer engagement plan, I think.
Yeah, to some extent. The customer engagement plan was very much about sales and customer service only.
Yes.
And I think as more of the first party workload solutions came available with Microsoft, that kind of model didn't really work. So what the attach does is it's for those, as we know, if you've got people in sales, just buy them sales. If they're in customer service, buy them customer service. If they're in marketing, you've got the marketing tenant app, what have you. But there will be people who will cross over those boundaries. There will be some people that need sales and customer service, is a classic example, or maybe sales and field services, one that came up yesterday, in which case the attach works. So pick one of those workloads, let's say sales, you pay the full price for that, and there's an attached price for adding another enterprise license to that, and it's dramatically cheaper. So that makes that very, very feasible. And but it will only be in a few cases, but it does make it much more feasible for those people that cross the boundaries between workloads. So I think that's a really good piece of news. The point you brought about marketing is really interesting, because I've had a lot of conversation about this recently. People go, gosh, how expensive is marketing? And you go, well, hang on a minute, let's think that through. So yeah, it's about £1,200 a month, right?
Yes.
Now, you could argue, how much is that compared to paying for a full-time marketing person? It's not the same price, okay? But even more so, if you've got, and this is where, you know, if you've got challenges for this, come to us, because we'll run this model for you. But let's say, for example, you have some sales licenses. It's almost worthwhile buying some more sales licenses, because when you hit 10, you get half price marketing.
Yeah.
So it drops down even more. It's down to about 600 quid. Well, tell me how much it's going to cost you to have some of that amazing functionality in an individual, or how much extra multiplication you're going to get on that marketing effort by having Dynamics marketing available to you. Even in a small business, it starts to make sense. Yeah. So, but I think that's where we were discussing before, how more and more we're getting people come to us and saying, look, this is what I want to do. Give me some idea of what that looks like from a licensing model perspective. And that's something we can do, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we're happy to help actually with licensing inquiries, just because we don't want it to be a barrier to people considering Dynamics 365 or the Power Platform as their platform for growth. And as we said last week, we're talking about the fact that many people are talking about going all in with Microsoft now. They can see the advantages of having everything interconnected. And I also think that that's come around on the back of understanding and using Teams, and then seeing that connection with Outlook and understanding that it's just seamless, you know, because it is in the same stack. But I think the thing about marketing is there is another level to what you pay as well, isn't there? So as well as the paying for the environment per month, you get with that half price, you get 10,000 contacts, I think. But if you are going to contact more than 10,000 people, then you do need to buy additional contact packs. And that's one of the places where it might get a little complicated. Who knows how many people they're going to contact, and what does a contact mean, you know, and do you contact them once a year? Does that automatically come off your list, your number? Yes, If you contact them once a year using a marketing email, it does come off your list. So you might as well contact them 52 times in that year if you're going to use them. So I think it's about thinking about that as well, isn't it? But as I said, we're happy to advise on that, and you do get that initial 10,000 contacts to start with. When we're talking about full and attach, there are some things that you can have full licenses of and attached to, and there are other things that have to just be stand on their own, and they are things that have kind of changed in the last couple of 18 months, I think. So, you know, what was PSA now is project operations, I believe, or was it project services? I get a bit confused about those two.
Project operations, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now, yeah.
So previously project service automation, which has been deprecated now and now has come as project operations. And we know that the licensing for that is kind of on a different, it's in a different place, isn't it? Even though it's called Dynamics 365. And I think those are the kinds of places where confusion arises, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's I think the answer is have a chat with us. Give us the kind of model of who you've got and the sort of workloads they're on, and we'll look into what is the best plan for them. There are other plans as well, such as there's still the team member license out there. Now, as soon as you mention that, people go, oh, brilliant, that's really cheap, I'll have a load of those. Well, you need to bear in mind, you pay for what you get. And team's license is a very fundamental license. But there are some people out there that will use it quite well. Field service is a classic example where the actual people actually out doing their jobs only need to be able to report back on their work orders and their completions and things like that. And that can be done with a team license. Sometimes people say, but you know, a fundamental license is, you know, £71 or that seems quite expensive. But when you analyze what that is per day, it's less than the price of a coffee. And you just got to think what that's going to do for you in terms of productivity. So again, that's somewhere we can help. We can look at what the pain points are, what products you might need to achieve that, and then look at some of the cost benefits of doing so.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ian. We're going to call it a day now, and we'll bring more licensing insight to our partners and our customers again another day. Thank you.